Hey friends, Kevin here, and sometimes with dealing with van life and what this channel is about involves the places we go, and a lot of people enjoy going to national parks. So we have these fancy words to use for these driverless vehicles, autonomous and all of this stuff. But Yellowstone now has two of these driverless shuttle buses in use as a test, moving people around different parking lots and different areas of the park. Now, for safety, supposedly they do have someone in there sometimes that can override that system. But I'm going to give you my opinions on this kind of, and I'm really looking forward to seeing your opinions. So let's get to it. Are these driverless vehicles the wave of the future? Now, here's some details about these. And again, like I said, these are being tested. We'll see what happens, how they go for future use. These things cost $300,000. I believe that's each. They haul 8 people, have a capacity of 8 people, and they have a capacity of what they can run around with of 1,350 pounds. And here lies problem number one. Glancing over at my calculator, because 1,350 pounds divided by 8 people is an average of 168 pounds. So if everyone that gets on there has a couple of kids with them, you might be able to average out to 168 pounds, but this is America, and we eat out a lot in America. And we don't always have the best diets in America. And I can tell you, homeboy here weighs more than 168 pounds. And I can guarantee a lot of people I run around with weigh more than 168 pounds. So you put 8 random people on there thinking you're going to hit that weight limit, 8 random adults at 168 pounds apiece. I don't know how they're going to keep this thing from being overloaded weight-wise. So to me, that's problem number one. Problem number two would involve safety. Now, in some of their testing so far, my understanding that they let the journalists in the area be the initial guinea pigs for this stuff. So they would go out and write about it and get all kinds of free press, which obviously worked and good for them. These things have to slow down constantly for random pedestrians. They have little strips in places that force them to slow down, and they're going to have to negotiate around vehicles and people doing the wrong thing, humans driving vehicles. So these things are going to be constantly speeding up and slowing down. Now, these things run between 6 and 12 miles per hour. They're probably not going to hit 12 miles an hour because they're going to be, again, overloaded with overweight American adults. And they're going to have to constantly stop, slow down to try to get around all the pedestrians walking around and anybody that starts to pull out of a parking space and all of that kind of stuff. Which means realistically, these things are going to be doing an average of a couple of miles an hour. We can walk faster than that, which kind of eliminates getting on a shuttle to go a short distance, unless you just have health issues that makes it to where something like this may be valuable. But when you're only talking about going a half a mile or a mile, and all the starts and stops and stutters and slowing down and trying to drive around something, it's just faster and easier to walk, and walking maybe will get some of that weight off. Then there are obvious safety issues. And, maybe I'm old-fashioned. I am certainly not anti-technology. I have made a living on technology since 1997. So I understand things change. I understand airplanes are flying through the sky unobstructed on autopilot and have been for decades. I can even see some of the things they're doing on straighter roads, interstates out west with taking tractor trailers from one place to another. But throwing things into crowded parking lots with lots of pedestrians running around in the way, children not paying attention, I just don't know that I'm a firm believer in this yet. And I guess that's the reason for the experimentation aspect of this. You know, they want to make sure they have something they want to have something that's safe. And while they have a human driver, not a driver, but someone in there to override the system, or the system gets confused and just stops because it doesn't know what to do next, they can hit a button and make it go again. My understanding of that pretty much is the purpose of having a human in there at some point. At this point, the time's going to come when these things are going to be completely driverless and running on their own. And these are, of course, electric vehicles, so they can run for about 3 hours, and then they have to be charged for about 2.5 hours. With the cost, and again, I can't get verification whether that was $300,000 for each of them or $300,000 for the pair, but it's a good amount of money, either way. To me, compared to what the cost would be of a shuttle bus, shuttle van, like you have in all sorts of touristy places that can haul multiple people with one driver. And so I'm not sure how that's going to work out money-wise. The other thing that's not real clear is who actually is paying for this, because you have Yellowstone in conjunction with some other government agency, in conjunction with the company that builds these things, which I think is based in Tennessee. And while everybody is listing the cost, nobody is telling who's paying for it. And if this is a test, why are you paying for these for just a couple of month test? Then if it doesn't work out, or you choose not to use them anymore, then who's going to eat that money? So there's a lot of unanswered questions for me with this thing. And I can have thoughts like this go through my head. I just really want your opinion on this. Do you think this is a good idea, or do you think this is a bad idea? Is this going to be the future for people movers, moving them around in places? Because the amount of people going to the most popular national parks keeps going up. And of course, after last year and this year, there you have this extra surge now because you have all these new van people on the road, all these new RV people on the road, just people that are fed up with being stuck at home, and they're out doing some of this stuff. So I understand that places are overcrowded, the most popular places certainly, but I think they have some bigger problems to solve than necessarily thinking this is the problem they need to be solving and throwing money at right now. And if this catches on, how many of these are going to have to be in service to move people around from place to place to place to place? And I'm trying to picture this in other areas, other national parks I have been in, with where their parking lots are, to getting to the visitor center and different things like that. I just don't see this working in some of the places I've been to, some of the national parks I've been to. But again, I want your opinion on this. We'll get back to more van travel related stuff in the next videos.